When you come to take a shot in counter-attack, you need to use the distance stick to measure whether or not the shot is allowable. So a shot can go from the circle all the way to the end of the second line there. So the player who has the ball right now is the number 9 in the Barcelona style kit. You hold the distance stick over the player and you point this distance stick in the direction you want to play your shot. And as you can see, there's a clear shot that player can take into the goal. You could even angle that shot if you wished, any direction you like, and there's no defender in the way to make a deflection. Now a shot is a simple dice off between the attacker and the goalkeeper. In this case the attacker is Vladoiu, who has a shooting score of 5, and the goalkeeper is Walker, who has a saving of 5. But Vladoiu is outside of the box, which means there's an automatic -1 dice penalty, which in effect means Vladoiu starts on a 4, not on a 5. You roll the dice and there's a 1, which is terrible, and a 6. So it's a save for the goalkeeper because the combined score for the goalkeeper is higher than it is for Vladoiu's shooting. But is it a catch or is it parried for a corner? Well, you roll the dice again for the goalkeeper. A 1, 2, 3 means it's a catch. A 4, 5, 6 means it's parried for a corner kick. So it's a 2. The goalkeeper has saved the ball. Nice and simple, and caught the ball too. What if there were defenders in the way when Vladoiu came to shoot? There's no way that Vladoiu can shoot at goal without it passing the zone of influence for either of these two defenders who are in the way right now. So if the ball travels directly through a defender, the defender rolls the dice for a deflection. And if you roll a 5 or a 6, then the ball will get deflected. However, if the ball shoots past just simply the zone of influence rather than through the defender, then it's a 6 that defender needs to roll to see if the shot's deflected. Now the defender doesn't get a choice here. It's automatic roll for deflection if the ball comes within the zone of influence of a defender. Now if those defenders were a bit closer together, let's say there, and the shot goes through the middle, then they both get to roll for a deflection and follow the rules in the instruction book to tell you what happens in the event of a deflected shot. A quick note about the positioning of the goalkeeper. The goalkeeper can dive 3 hexes in either direction. That's 1, 2, 3, or if we're going back here, 1, 2, 3. So a lot of the time it makes sense to leave your goalkeeper square in the middle of the goals because you can dive in either direction and make the save pretty much every time. Although there are exceptions. If you see here, this goalkeeper could dive to there, but a shot could in theory be snuck into that space there. So make sure that you use your movement phase wisely. Your goalkeeper can move just as much as any other player. They've got a pace attribute. But there's other times when the goalkeeper can move and gets a free move. When the ball comes into the box, the goalkeeper always gets a free move. So the ball can come into the box through a shot from outside the box, or perhaps a player could dribble the ball into the box, in which case there's a free move of 1. Or perhaps there's a cross ball that's played into the box, and if a high ball comes into the box, then again the goalkeeper gets a free move of 1. Now you can decide what you want to use that free move for. Perhaps you want to move to collect the ball, or perhaps you want to position yourself to make a save because you might be slightly out of position. If you're using the advanced shooting and saving rules, then there's a couple of things to bear in mind. First up is if an attacker shoots and rolls a 1, then it's an automatic miss and the ball goes out for a goal kick. Second thing to note is the goalkeeper can still dive 3 hexes to the left or to the right, but that third hex away, this one here, and of course the one up the top there, at that third hex away the goalkeeper has a -1 saving ability. So if the goalkeeper's saving is 5, you'll automatically drop that down to a 4 if the shot has been angled 3 hexes away from the goalkeeper, if I could balance that correctly, as it would be in this scenario here. So positioning your goalkeeper correctly can make all the difference as to whether or not you're going to make a save. Sometimes the smart thing to do, of course, is to narrow the angle in a movement phase and move your goalkeeper out, but just be careful you don't get into the scenario where a pass can be made across the box to a striker who can knock the ball into an empty net. Now you can't pass in the middle of a movement phase, but you can shoot in one situation. Let's say it's a movement phase and this player is going to move into the box. As soon as you move into a hex that touches the penalty area, you can shoot. But you don't need to shoot immediately. You could carry on your run if you wished. Perhaps you want to angle for a more advantageous shot. But you can now call a snapshot if you dribble the ball into the box. And when you call a snapshot, the opposition team gets to move one player up to 2 hexes. Now that could be a defender who's chasing, but that's kind of futile. It might be more sensible to move your goalkeeper in that scenario so that your goalkeeper's angles are covered if you're playing the advanced rules, or if your goalkeeper was way out of position, you could move that goalkeeper 2 hexes so that you could make that save along either direction. One other thing to look at for shooting, that is these hexes in the corner that have all got dots in them, the eagle-eyed people might have spotted. So the dot there is to do with shooting. These dots are on shooting angles where it's possible to shoot from, but actually in real life very difficult to score from. I mean, only Sergio Aguero scores from there, right? So if you try to shoot from one of these spots that have got a dot in them, you get a further -1 dice penalty. So if you try to score from here, you have a -1 dice penalty because you're on a dot. You have another -1 dice penalty because you're outside of the box. And if you happen to be taking a snapshot in this moment, it would be another -1 dice penalty. So you'd have a -3 dice penalty, which might not be good news if someone like Robbie's taking the shot, because instead of starting on a 4, you'd start on a 1. But hey, you could still score, right?